Once upon a time, in a cozy house at the edge of a small town, there lived a girl named Nora. Nora was 8 years old, and she had 3 favorite things in the whole world: rainbows, unicorns, and bedtime stories. Every night, after brushing her teeth and putting on her soft pajamas, Nora would climb into bed and look at the ceiling above her. Her father had placed tiny glowing stars there, and when the lights went off, the stars would shine gently in the dark. One evening, the sky outside was quiet and dark. The moon was round and bright, shining like a silver button sewn onto the night. Nora was almost asleep when she heard a soft sound. Ting. Then again. Ting. On the floor, beside the window, there was a small silver horseshoe. It was glowing. Nora carefully climbed out of bed and picked it up. It was warm in her hand. Then the window opened by itself, softly, as if the night had taken a deep breath. In the garden stood a unicorn. Her coat was white like fresh snow. Her mane was pale blue and pink, flowing as if it were made of moonlight. "Good evening, Nora," said the unicorn. Nora blinked. "You know my name?" "Of course," said the unicorn. "The moon told me." Nora looked up at the moon. "The moon talks?" Celestia nodded. "Mostly at night, mostly to those who listen." Celestia explained that she had lost her horseshoe while crossing the moonbeam path. The path led to the Garden of Sleeping Dreams. But tonight, something had gone wrong. The dreams were stuck. "Dreams can get stuck?" Nora asked. "Oh yes," said Celestia. "Sometimes, when children go to sleep with worries in their hearts, their dreams cannot fly properly. They become tangled like ribbons." Nora held the horseshoe close and asked, "Can I help?" Celestia knelt and Nora climbed gently onto her back. Her mane felt soft and cool, like silk washed in starlight. "Hold tight," Celestia whispered. Then she leaped straight into the sky. Higher and higher they flew, until they reached a shining path in the sky. It was made entirely of moonbeams. Celestia trotted along the glowing path. Each step made a soft, musical sound. Soon they reached a golden gate covered in sleepy flowers. Above the gate were the words, "The Garden of Sleeping Dreams." Inside was the most magical garden Nora had ever seen. A tiny owl wearing a nightcap flew toward them. "Oh, thank the moon!" cried the owl. "Celestia, you brought help." "This is Nora," said Celestia. "She has a careful heart." One tangled ribbon floated close to Nora. Inside it, she saw a little girl trying to perform on a stage. But every time the girl opened her mouth to sing, no sound came out. "She is afraid," Nora said softly. Nora whispered to the ribbon, "You don't have to be perfect, you only have to try." Slowly, the knot loosened. Inside the dream, the little girl took a deep breath and sang until the whole stage filled with music. The next ribbon was green and twisted around a silver tree. Inside it, a boy stood alone at a playground. Other children were playing, but he was too shy to ask if he could join. Nora placed her hand near the ribbon and said, "Sometimes one small hello can open a big door." In the dream, the boy walked to the children and asked, "Can I play too?" The children smiled and made space for him. They moved deeper into the garden. They walked beside a pond full of moonfish. The fish jumped out of the water and left little sparkles behind them. Then they heard crying. Behind a bush of blue roses, they found a tiny dragon. He was no bigger than a cat, with purple scales and golden wings. His tail was wrapped in a messy rainbow ribbon. "I tried to guard the happy dreams," said Pip, "but I sneezed fire and tangled everything." Pip looked ashamed. "I ruined bedtime." Nora sat beside him and said, "Everyone makes mistakes." Pip sniffed. "So I'm not bad?" "No," said Nora. "You just had a smoky sneeze." Pip giggled, and the rainbow ribbon around his tail untied itself. Suddenly, dozens of happy dreams escaped into the garden. But then the garden grew quiet. The moonlight became dim. At the center of the garden, wrapped around the largest tree, was a huge gray ribbon tied into a giant knot. "That is the heavy worry," said Professor Wink. Nora took a small step forward. The gray ribbon whispered, "What if you fail? What if you are not brave?" Nora took a deep breath. "I have worries too," she said. "But my father says worries are not the boss of me," Nora said. "They are only visitors. They can come, but they don't get to stay forever." The ribbon loosened as she placed her hand gently on the knot. The gray ribbon trembled. Then it changed into a beautiful rainbow ribbon, brighter than all the others. The silver leaves grew back, and the flowers opened. The dreams were flying again. Celestia bowed her head to Nora. "You helped many children sleep peacefully tonight." Nora smiled, but then she yawned. A very big yawn. "Our helper needs bedtime too," said Professor Wing. Nora climbed onto Celestia's back, and together they rode back along the moonbeam path. The town appeared below them, quiet and peaceful. Celestia landed softly in Nora's garden. Celestia's horn glowed, and a tiny moon-shaped charm appeared on Nora's bedside table. "For you," said the unicorn. "So you remember that even on dark nights, there is always a little light." "Good night, Nora," said Celestia. "Good night, Celestia," whispered Nora. Then the unicorn disappeared into the soft glow of the moon. Nora climbed into bed and pulled the blanket up to her chin. Nora whispered, "You can visit, but you can't stay forever." And somehow that made her heart feel lighter. Soon her eyes closed. She dreamed of a silver garden and a moonlight unicorn. The dreams were soft, the dreams were bright, and the whole night felt safe. Good night, Nora. Good night, moon. Good night, dreams. And good night to every little heart that is learning to be brave.